There was a day I sat in my house and I just said to myself, I don't like being a pastor.
Hi guys, good afternoon. I'm Osuho Victory Omolara and I have the privilege of being with Apst David Imoisi.
Hi guys, how you guys doing? Welcome to my channel.
Okay, so we're going to be talking about generally the pastoral work. What does it entail to be a pastor? People think that being a pastor is like moi moi, like you can just like you can just wake up one day
Yeah,
and say I'm
yeah,
called of God.
yeah.
There's nothing there. It's not just to open church, call people, and then we really want to know like some truths about being a pastor. So, sir, generally, has life of a pastor?
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Victory, for this question. And first, please, welcome to our channel. And if today is your first time visiting our channel, please just hit the subscription button and don't also forget to hit a notification bell so you'll be alerted whenever I post a new video. So back to your question. You see, being a pastor, how's the life like?
That laugh is not just
You see, a lot of persons think some of us just wake up one morning and say we want to be pastors. And maybe this is an escape from doing other kind of jobs.
Yes.
Yeah, we just want to escape the life of,
Stress.
the stress life.
Yeah.
You understand? So, by the grace of God, I've been pastoring for over 7 years now.
Wow.
Right, over 7 years now, by God's grace. And at this stage of my life, I can basically tell you that the pastor job is not what many persons think it is. I mean, it's so far from what many persons think it is. And now, when some persons have the wrong motive or the wrong mindset concerning this pastoral work, I wouldn't blame them.
Okay.
My reason is that I was once like them.
Okay.
It's like this kind of a thing when they say, he that wears the shoe, right, knows where it hurts most. Yeah. So, he that is called into the job knows exactly what he or she goes through.
Exactly.
So I used to say, what is wrong with these men of God? What is wrong with them? Right? I used to throw tantrums to a lot of men of God. What is there in being a pastor? In fact, when I was called into the ministry after I just graduated from school, the Lord instructed me to just start my own ministry and all that. I felt it was easy because I was starting in my hometown. So I know a lot of persons. You understand? So I just felt like the very moment we just open the ministry, if I talk to a few of my friends, they talk to their friends, like bring two people. So the church will just be jam-packed, that kind of idea. So I went into ministry with that kind of mindset. Saying it will be that difficult. So I spoke with some people and they said, we are coming. We are for you. First service, people actually came because then we're just doing it like a fellowship. But the very moment we now started like a full church ministry, it became something else. I think attendance dropped to like 2%.
Are you serious?
I'm telling you, attendance dropped to like 2%, and from that time till now, it has just been a roller coaster of emotions. You understand? Because there is something about the pastoral work which a lot of persons don't know.
Okay.
It is not as easy as you think it is.
Okay.
You understand? It's not as easy as you think it is. Because the very moment you say you are called, a lot of persons already start expecting a level of success from you.
Exactly.
You understand? They already expect a level of success from you. And if you by any means, after some years, after some time, you're not able to show that success, something will happen. Your mind will be telling you that people are seeing you as a failure. You understand? Your mind will tell you people are already started seeing you as a failure, or they have started doubting the call of God for you. And this is what pushes a lot of pastors into going the other way around to try to prove a point. You understand? And especially when you are married. I'm gonna get into being a pastor and then the marriage part, how it can affect and how it can actually tell on the family. So as you become a pastor, there's one thing you ought to understand. That is, the devil is against you. You have become his number one target. So life for you cannot just go easily like because Christ said something, book of John. He said, just like the world hated me, also know they will also hate you. Now he said the word, he didn't say this, he didn't say Satan. Right? But then Bible also said that the God of this world has blinded their eyes. So it means that the God of this world has a way to influence people. So when he talks about the word, he's talking about those that are, that can be influenced by the God of this world. So the very moment the devil hates you, what it does is that it brings the world against you. Those that are not in Christ, it brings them against you. Not just against you now, but against everything that has to do with you. Why? Because it's trying to frustrate the work of God. And the most difficult thing about all this is that you can't even complain. Who do you complain to?
Wow.
You understand? Because now everybody is looking up to you. The pastor is supposed to be this Superman that has answers to everything. So the person you trust that have answers to everything, how can that same person now bring their own problem to public? So sometimes you just have to choke yourself with all the things you go through, having just faith in God and God alone. So sometimes even when you feel like talking, you can't even talk, right? Because you feel it will weaken the little faith of others. Those that don't really have the faith, right? They only tend to get the faith when you preach the word to them. So if you then start complaining to them, what would happen? They will lose faith in God, lose faith in your word, right? And when that happens, it means that you have started becoming an anti-pastor. Because the word pastor from a Greek word means shepherd, right? So the shepherd cares for the sheep. It doesn't complain. It doesn't say we're in dry season. You have to understand there's no water anywhere. You ought to be able to provide water for the sheep, ought to be able to provide food for the sheep. So briefly, this is just what it feels like being a pastor.
While you were talking, you said something like when you left school, that was when you actually knew the call of God upon your life. And
no, that wasn't when I knew.
Okay.
Before I was born, they be telling my mom about God's call over my life. So while growing up, every church I attended, then they did give me the word of prophecy, like this is God speaking, He's going to use you and all that, that kind of stuff. Although I've never heard it myself. Although growing up, I used to see myself preaching. I didn't really give meaning to that because I never wanted to be a pastor. I don't love to be a pastor. I just want to serve God, right? But still have the opportunity to live my life. But it was in my final year in school that God spoke to me, gave me the instruction personally to go start a church. You get the point? Yeah.
So about that now, how were you able to handle pressure, probably from your family, from your parents, when they were expecting that, okay, maybe the next thing is for you to go to Canada, or the next thing is for you to get an oil company job and all that. So, like, how were you able to handle that pressure?
If I tell you it was easy, I'm lying. Now, that wasn't the biggest pressure of it all. I think the pressure that actually affected me most was, how will I convince people I'm a pastor? I don't look like a pastor. I was looking so young then, right? I was looking so young then. So how do I convince people? How do I start making people actually see me like I'm a pastor? How should I convince them that, okay, it was God that spoke to me? That I didn't just wake up one morning and say I want to be a pastor. Okay, so that was my biggest challenge. Thank you so much. That's the word. That was my biggest challenge. But for the project that came from my parents, my mom is a very understanding person because growing up as a child, she already knew God was going to use me. A lot of persons already told her, right? But then my dad, and I had to start the church in his house.
Wow, I can imagine.
So he felt I was just using it to while away time, right? Until 6 months passed, 1 year passed, and all that. So the pressure got so severe. Then it was just I and God. You understand? It was really a difficult time of my life because now you're staying with your parents after school, eating their food, and you say God called you, and your dad is saying not in his house. right? It got to a point in ministry while we were sitting in my father's house, you know, he asked us to leave the house.
Wow.
He doesn't want the church in his house anymore. Why? Because he wanted me to leave to go get a job. So he the person I'm going to use to feed my kids, right? Is that I'm going to get married. Every parent wants the best for their children, you see. So I wouldn't blame him for that. But then he woke up one morning and he called my mom to tell me that he doesn't want this church thing in his house anymore. I should just leave the house, look for a way to go. So it was really pressurizing that time. And the most difficult part of it now is that you are not really working, right? Okay, then I think I was doing my Empower job, and every month I receive 30,000, but the money goes to the church. You understand? Because who will you tell to support the work when the people you would have spoken to, they don't really support the vision. They're not even seeing what you're saying. So they just feel you're one young man that does not understand life. You understand? They think you just want to waste some part of your life. So there were times where I had nothing on me, right? But I go to the altar and I preach to the crowd. When I mean nothing, I'm not saying like in a day, in a week, like if in a full month I cannot have maybe 100 naira on me. I'm telling you, but I'm preaching. But time that my mom always brings the food to eat morning, afternoon, evening. I was just there, no savings, right? Okay, no savings, no nothing. And then you talk to God about it. God says, "I'm with you." Right? God says, "I'm with you." So in that point of your life, all you can do is just to trust. You understand? When we say trust in God, if it was easy to trust in God, we will not be saying trust in God, because you will just know how to trust in God. Right? So, but when we will not start advising you to trust in God, you understand that there will be things that would actually want to stop you from trusting in God. Right? And if you are not spiritually smart, right, you will be angry with your people, angry with your parents, angry with your family, with your siblings. And you don't want to make them feel like this is what we're talking about, so you can't even ask for money. So you rather just sit as if all is well. You do all. So then you ask about the people around. I heard some people started talking about me, saying he just finished school, doesn't want to, all his mates are hustling. He's in the village. I think that in the village, right? In a one-room apartment. He's in the village and he just wanted to say he's serving God. Why not go and do it in town? Okay. At least in town you can have money. Right? How much will villagers pay at office? But what they forgot is that God is the one that tells us where to go, when to go, and how to go. Right? So you can't just wake up one morning and say, "I'm leaving the house." To where? I remember when I was dating my wife, we just started dating and we were trying to talk about marriage. And then she asked me a question one day. She said, "When are we getting married?" I said, "See, getting married is not the problem. The problem is I know that God will soon move me from this town to another town to go start a church. I don't know where. So if I were to get married, am I going to get married to you and bring it to my parents' house?" So if you want to talk about marriage, you have to first talk about the location. I didn't have a house. I will live with my parents. Right? So every time we want to talk about the marriage stuff, we are stuck. Because there's no location. Where are we going to get married? Where are we going to stay? You understand? So for like a year, it was like that. God said you will soon leave, but he didn't tell me where. Just like Abraham when he said, "Leave your father's house to a land I will show you." God could have said, "Go to Canaan." You understand? But then he said to a land I will show you, because that is God. God always gives you the chance to express your faith. If he tells you everything, then there's no space for faith. Right? And if you don't have faith in him, without faith, no one can please God. So that was what the pressure was like. You know, it wasn't really a very easy time then. But being with God doesn't need things to be easy. That's just one thing I know. You understand? No, I'm telling you the truth. A lot of persons come into ministry thinking, because I'm serving God, because I'm genuine, right? Things will just be so easy. In fact, things can be hard because you are genuine. I'm telling you, Jesus had his call from the Father to come die for us, right? It was from the Father, yet he was saying, "Pray, it is your will, let this cup pass me by." So it's to tell you that even with that, it wasn't easy. You understand? So the pastoral work is not really as easy as people think it is. Especially you that's just a novice. You are just starting up there. No spiritual father, no nothing. You are just doing what you ought to do. So that was what it felt like from that beginning time of it.
Very much so far. Like I've actually really been learning. I know a lot of people watching this will also benefit so much. Please, you can actually share the video, subscribe, and also tell people to watch it. Okay, now my next question is, how do you handle emotions as a pastor? Like most time, people see pastors as superheroes. Like they really don't need anything. They get support from their church members because they preach to them. They don't need anything. They are good. How do you handle them? And then you see people with different character. Like, you just come and then you're like, I was not your pastor. How do you actually handle such?
Okay. I I'm not sure how to put this right, but there was a day I sat in my house and I just said to myself, I don't like being a pastor. You understand? See, it's deeper than saying Papa. It's deeper than saying Father in the Lord and all that. So when it comes to this emotional stuff, if you're not mentally strong as a man of God, you would actually break down. You understand my point now? You will break down because the pastoral work is the work where you have to bear the burdens of people. But when you need others to bear your burden, you find none to bear your burden. You know why? Because you can't even tell them to bear your burden. You understand the point? You can't even tell them to bear your burden. Now, let me start from church attendance. Everybody would think the least thing anybody can do is just to wake up and come to church. Right? I remember when we just started our church here in Asaba. So I went to the market, bought some chairs, few chairs, and my wife was like, these chairs you bought, they are few. Why did you not buy like times 2? So before 2 months, these chairs will just be filled. I was like, really? This is the first time she's doing ministry with me, right? So I just felt she didn't understand the whole thing that comes with ministry. So we went out there and we printed out, I think, 500 flyers. So we went out, we shared almost all the flyers. So that Sunday she was already planning where to get extra chairs. Me, I was just laughing. Not because I don't have faith, but I know what caused it. So she went out and she was very happy. She took her person's phone numbers and she said, they all promised her they were going to come. So she called them and they actually said they were coming on Saturday night in my presence. She called. Over 10 said they were coming. She was so excited and all that. I was just laughing. I didn't want to break her heart, right? So on Sunday we go to church. Lo and behold, out of over 100 flyers she shared, not a single soul showed up. So I was preaching from the altar and I was staying at my wife, watching her facial expression, and you could see the disappointment there, right? You could see the disappointment and all that. But thank God, at least one person then showed up. From my own side, nobody showed up. But I already had some persons that said, okay, they'll come to church, which they did come, but now they're not with us anymore, right? So 1 week passed, she called them again and said, oh guys, they apologized, we are coming. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and I said to her, he said, why are you like this? Nobody calls me to come to church. I said, that's life for you. So ministry is not this. If you don't experience it this way, you will not value those pastors you see up there that has a lot of congregation. What do you think church is? I've gone out for evangelism, right? To preach to people. When they see me come, they turn their face. A lady told me, oh, she was coming to church, and then I collected her number just to follow her up. When I got home, I called her. She picked immediately. I said, "Oh, this Apostle David Imoisi, the person that invited you for church, he ended the call."
Wow.
So I thought maybe it was.
Seriously,
I'm telling you,
network.
network issues. I called again, she ended again. I called again, she ended again.
Like, who does that?
See, that's in pain me. Why? Because if it's not church, what am I doing with your number? It's time I'm calling you to come serve your God. Nothing else. So I just let her be, for some time. And after a week, I said I was not calling this lady again. So God see beckoned on me and said, make the call. This is what it means to be a pastor. You don't give up on people, right? They might treat you the way you don't like. They might treat you like shit, but you still ought to reach out to them. Like Jesus left the 99 to go look for one. Just one sheep. That is the life of a pastor. So people offend you, you don't have the right to retaliate. You don't even have the right. If a true pastor gives up, his conscience cannot take it. He would want to go back to reach out. You understand? God will always want to speak to you. So I called the lady with my phone. She didn't pick up. Obviously, she has saved the number. So I called her with my second line. She picked immediately. I said, hello? I said, how are you doing? I don't want to mention her name, right? How are you doing? She said she's fine. Who is this? I look at this Apostle David must.
This is serious.
You are laughing now, but that day I sat in my car, folded my hand, and was staying at one place. So what kind of insult is this? I mean, so a lot of persons, right? See, it can affect you emotionally. I know what I'm talking about. There are other persons that came to our church, right? And all that. Somebody has spent close to a year in our church now. We are still calling her to remind her for service every Sunday. In fact, we call almost all our members to remind them for service. And sometimes they still will not. So emotionally, you are affected. Right? And you are seeing their status, you are seeing their updates online. So it's not like they are not online, right?
Yeah.
They are online, but at the end of the day, they don't show up. So as a man of God, it affects you. But God has trained me over time, right? Over years to be able to, handle this kind of stuff. But my wife was not what I was bothering myself about. I didn't want her to feel broken, because she already had a very high expectation, right? I didn't want her to feel like God is a liar. So sometimes I just pray to God in my mind. I say, God, please just bring someone to church for her sake, not for my sake. I didn't want her to feel discouraged, because in her presence, I quitted my job to come do the pastor work. So she was feeling, after that kind of stuff, every year we just, that's not how God works. God must take you through the process that will build you. You can't say, because you have come to join the army, we don't want to stress you. No need for the training. Let's just take you to Sambisa Forest. You will kill the person.
Yeah.
So God cannot expose you to what you are not yet mature enough to handle. So emotionally, it's like that. Let me just say this. I think this was on Tuesday, day before yesterday. I was feeling very tired because on Sunday / on Monday I really stressed myself. So I planned I was going to just rest on Tuesday. So I just decided to just tidy up some stuff so I can just, today I don't feel like doing anything. Let me just rest my bones. Calling on my phone. It was from someone, right? Someone that do attend our church. So she called and she said, "Oh sir, please, I have to see you. One, my friend had a dream. It's a very terrible one." She explained the dream of a truth. It was a terrible one. I could have prayed through the phone, but she requested they wanted to see me for the prayers. Just like the man said, "Please come to my house." Christ followed. I said, "Okay, let's meet in church. But I'm doing something. Let me just tidy up, then I'll come." So I just struggled to tidy up what I was doing. I said, "Okay." I called her. I think that was 12:30, and I said, "Okay, I'm ready. And I'm coming to church." She said, "Okay, sir." She lives close to the church. So I drove down. See, hey God, it was a struggle for me. I mean, a struggle. But how can I tell her I want to rest?
Yeah, exactly.
You understand? So I cannot give such excuse. Then I drove down to church and I called her. I said, "I'm on my way." She said, "Oh, sir, no, just come, sir." I said, no problem. So I drove down to church and I called and I said, hello, I'm in church. When I said hello, I'm in church, he said, okay, sir, I did a little bit, I couldn't tell what. I did a little busy now. Just give me some more time. No problem, hurry up. He said, okay. So I waited from, I go to church 1 o'clock. I started waiting from 1 o'clock to 1:30. She wasn't there. She didn't call me. I waited from 1:30 to 2 o'clock. She wasn't there.
Wow.
She didn't call me. Almost 2:30. See, I was really exhausted. I mean, I was really tired. So I just took the keys, right? Locked up the church and then drove back home to go rest. Waiting for a call. This lady called me 5:30.
Wow.
And guess what she said when she called? She said, hello, sir, I'm in church. I cannot see you. There you go.
This was my child. I don't know.
Okay.
Wow.
He said, hello, I'm in church. I cannot see you. I said, are you? So what's your time? He said 5:30.
Are you for real?
It's okay, I was busy. I went to Ubuzo. If you went to Ubuzo, why did you not tell me not to come here?
Exactly. Wow.
Say, sorry, sir. What can you do then? Right? So when you talk about the emotions, things that comes with it, you just see people behave in a certain kind of way, which you don't expect, but because you are a man of God, you just ought to take those things. So emotionally, it's not really okay. You understand? It's actually a very big struggle. But if you are mentally not stable, you can run mad.
Wow, ministry is not for the weak.
No, see, of a truth, ministry is not for the weak. Because most of them, even the devil will use them just to. See, the devil will use anybody available to discourage you. You understand? The devil will use anybody available to discourage you. So that is why, if you're coming into ministry, just understand that you will meet different sort of persons, right? But at the end of the day, you must put your heart in the place where God has set you to be. You get the point. You must put your heart there. I've seen people come to me and say, sir, I'm with you. Sir, we go nowhere. In fact, we planned the program together, went out to share the flyers together. They didn't come to the program. You understand the point? They didn't come to the program. All this is just to discourage you. So, Mama said something to me, your friend. He said, if we keep following everybody up this way, are we going to do it for life? I said, it comes with time, right? This time will still pass. But only the Lord can determine when it will pass. You wake up one morning and the people that stood by you yesterday that claimed the church, they are not there. Another one said, sir, please, I'm not sure I can come again. Why? Say nothing.
Just like that.
Just like that. And these big pastors you see up there, they've gone through the same thing. A lot of persons now, why? You know why I'm saying this? I want those young ministers coming into ministry to understand what to expect. Because most of them think all they look at are those ones up there.
Yeah, the big church.
Thank you. That's the motivation, right? But they don't understand the labor those ones also labored to be able to get to that level. And if that is what you see, right? If that is what you see, that is what you want to achieve, that is your motivation towards ministry, it won't spend up to 5 years. You might give up on your call because it can actually suffocate you as a person.
When you don't see those things.
When you don't see those things coming, you will think God has left you. And please, I want to chip this in for young ministers. This is very important. It is not enough for someone to tell you have a call and you come into ministry. Even if the bishop of the whole world says you have a call, don't step into ministry. Hold on until God speaks to you. Right? Do you know why? Because when you get into ministry, certain things will happen. Only what will keep you going is the assurance that comes from the word God spoke to you about your life. If you don't get it directly, you are not sure. Wait, ask for confirmation. Because I never knew why it was important for Christ to speak to me himself about the ministry. That is what is keeping me going now. The result, what you see, might even prove to you that, okay, you are not called, you are faking it. But if you remember what God said,
Yeah.
it will keep you going. But if it's somebody that said that to you, what would happen? You might begin to doubt that person. And the devil is very smart. Did God tell you are called? Is you know that person? Are you sure they did not just say it out like that? You get the point now. So, but if you allow God say it to you, then you'll be able to travel through the mountains, the valleys, the rock, and everything that comes your way with that word God said to you. But if you think every day God is going to be speaking, don't worry, my son, go on. God is not a motivational speaker. He will not be motivating you every day. I'm telling you, God said one thing to me one time. He said, the reason why I give prophecy out to you is not for today, is to carry you through the season. See, I bet what I've said to you. So you must learn to travel with word. So the word of prophecy, that word, that call God said concerning you, that word He told you, would carry you through to the fulfillment of the call of God on your life. So that's what it is. I just have to share few ones I'm permitted to share about this emotional stuff about being a pastor thereabout.
So, thank you so much, sir. You've really been sharing a lot of words of wisdom, and it has really been encouraging. So now I want to move on to the financial aspect of ministry. The financial aspect, like how
Okay.
do you handle finance in ministry? Is it that probably people are always giving, everybody is bringing, and then see some people quarrel with big men of God? They're not supposed to be working, they're supposed to be trekking on the streets. Meanwhile, they should buy private jets. If you don't have money, they're supposed to give all their money to the ministry and all that. Like, how do you handle finances? How do you work with that? What do you know that?
Okay. You see, a lot of churches have this idea. Men of God are not supposed to drive exotic cars. They're not supposed to do this and do that. In fact, it comes from the offering. They are eating the church money and all that. The question I want to ask is, personally, how much do you give? Let's be truthful.
That's very deep.
No, how much do you give, right, that the pastor can use to build a big edifice for himself and his family? Some persons give, see, the normal average offering in Nigeria is 200 naira, right? If you are doing well, if you owe 200 naira, you actually have this level of boldness, right? And it's okay, it's 200. You can really show it. But at the end of the day, guess what? There's this mental structure that feels like 200 naira is a very big money to give to God on Sunday. But in a month, guess how much you've given? 800 naira. Not up to 1K. Some people give 100 naira. So in a month, how much have they given? 400. Some people give 15 naira. In a month, how much are they giving? So would that be enough to buy those things you think the pastors are using? So financially, it is not, you see, there are things pastors will not tell you out there. Some pastors borrowed to pay for the church hall. And then you would say something, God did not call, but God called, we provide. Let me hear something. The disciples said to Jesus, now that we have left everything to follow you, what shall we gain? If they were already gaining something, they will not be asking that question. You understand? So they knew their life was better financially when they were still hustling on their own. That's why any small thing, when Jesus Christ died, they ran back to their fishing. Anything, they'll go back to their fishing. You get the point now. So when Christ told them, feed the multitude, this man is joking. He doesn't know that we don't have, we are not working, so he had to do a miracle. So people say, money, you eat too much, you do this, you do that. But at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, how much do you give? See, please walk to the small church close to you, because the focus is always on those mega churches, and that is the yardstick to judge every man of God. Before they got that big, why did you not investigate their poverty? There are days where you will not have food at home to eat. I'm telling you now, as a man of God, you won't have food and you can't beg. So you have to endure hunger the same way Paul endured in this little beginning, right? I was I was broke one time. Let me use that word, right? This year, no money, no nothing. So I was actually looking for money to sort out something very important. I went to church and a member of mine told me he's struggling and he doesn't have transport fare, he won't go to work and all that. Out of what I don't have, what is not complete yet, I had to bring out to give to him. I just saw a sister at the close of the service and one day I just, have you even eaten? He said no, he doesn't have cash. Mama, please take money from there and give to her. So sisters did not come to church. We went to that check on them that same week. And I asked, are you guys fine? Are you guys eating? I said yes. Do you have money? Do you have anything at all with you? They said no. Okay, send my account number. In their heart, right? Pastor have so much, but I was giving from. You understand the point now? So people don't understand. Oh, pastors are eating money. December, right? December. What if I tell you, none of my members called me to say Happy Christmas? No, I have to say call, right? So that you will, so that if they didn't call, right, you will not be thinking they brought one tin tomatoes. Right? So the only time most of these persons call you is when they have problems, when they have a need. But then, that is why you're a man of God. New Year Day, nobody said Happy New Year. I was the one that called all my neighbors around to say Happy New Year to them. Emotionally, you can see what that will do to you because these are people you are laboring after, right? But then you will still do it. You can't even say I will not pastor them well again. You will do it well. You get the point? So financially, sometimes it's not what you think. Oh, pastors are just. Somebody complimented me one day and said, "Wow, you look good. You are shining these days." I said, "Oh, thank God." Another person from a distance, not too far from us, said, now pastor, not the church money in the shop.
Seriously.
Face to face, I just smiled. Right? I don't want to mention how much their offering is.
Yeah.
Sometimes offering is not, if you remove mine, I remove that of my wife. Sometimes offering is not up to 400 naira. How much is it to run one service?
And then you buy batteries, those logistics.
Thank you. And then before 1 year, the rent of the church is staring at you. And because you are just starting, there's nobody in the church you know that can really support. It's still on you. Then your house rent is knocking at you. Huh? If you have a shop, the shop rent is looking at you. Then your children, right? Their family. So it's not really as rosy like you think it is. You say, but pastor, you look fresh. How can you kind of fresh man of God? Because that is our work. We have to, right? Because we are teaching you how to handle your problems. So our heart should not show on our face, right? So because you start having this idea that pastors are really, okay, personally you listening to me now, the truth. When was the last time you took out, 1,000 and say, pastor, take for you, not for the offering? Because even there are some churches, even if the offering is like $1 billion, it doesn't belong to the pastor. I don't even know how much we see every Sunday in church. I don't concern myself with that. For 7 years, I've not taken 1,000 naira to say for myself from church offering. Because the church has a future. So we are even the ones still putting into it. Huh? And then a member comes and he complains. What are you going to say? Right? And you are part of the crew that says, oh, no pay, no tithe in church, blah, 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 blah. I don't collect tithe in my church, right? We do with full giving, right? You can decide to partner with the church. I think the only partner we have in the church is one person from Lagos, not even in church. You understand? I'm not saying this is how it is everywhere, but I'm saying this is what majority of persons are going through, which you don't even know. So pastors come to the church to just preach, but they don't even have what's the word? Food to eat after service. But you won't know because most of you expect the pastor to come and complain, and then you will now say, pastor, to the complaints. But a man of God that is really trained will not say it. He will just expect God to just direct, right? To just direct. Okay, I want to share this story. Some years ago, I was still very young. I think I was in just 3. My mom then, she was selling fried rice and all that. One day she just said she didn't feel like going to work that day.
Okay.
That her heart just tells her to cook and give to her pastor. So she went to the market, bought chicken and all that. She killed, in a very big mega church. We had rich people in the church. She went there and we were just struggling now that time. So she cooked fried rice, salad, big cooler, packaged all the chicken, everything. So she sent me to take it to the pastor's house. When I knocked on the door, they opened the door and everything. I brought it. I said, my mom said I should bring this to him. The scream in the house and the way they looked at each other, it was quite shocking. But later he called my mom and said to my wife, he said that morning there was absolutely nothing in the house to eat. You understand? He said nothing. Children were there, mom, the wife was there. I think their sister was staying with them. Big family, nothing. So the wife came to him and said, sir, you don't even have anything, so can you used to just bring out something? He said nothing, but God will provide. In a big church where they have a lot of persons. But then when the food came, he smiled. So imagine my mom refused to take that food. The person drives a car. He has a car and all that. You would think all is well inside the house. And God will not come and tell some people because they are wicked. Their hearts will never hear.
Even when they hear, they won't listen.
They won't listen. You understand? So you have people around you that don't even care. See, they don't even want to know. I have people around me asking me for financial assistance. They don't even care if I'm working or not. So how am I supposed to see it? You get the point? If they tell you that troubles, because of how serious it is, you have no option but to borrow or beg to give to them. You have to. So before you judge those guys up there, you must be able to first understand where they are coming from. And most sacrifice they have sacrificed in the life of people. Those people like now, maybe investing into their lives and all that, and pay them. The ones that have godly hearts. Tomorrow, if they become something in life, they won't forget the man of God that was there for them when they were nothing. That is what happens to those great men of God you see. Most of them met these people when they were nothing. But through them, God made those other persons become great. Yeah. So right now, they decided to just assist the pastor back. You can't be angry. Right? Because if you even compare the suffering the pastor suffered before, the enjoyment is not even up to the suffering. You get the point now. And you can't expect a man to be in one level forever. You can't. Now that's witchcraft.
It's only pastors that actually expect this kind of things.
I'm telling you. How can the pastor drive a car? How can the pastor do this? So a man of God has... I'm not here to justify private jets and all that, right? But me, I don't reject luxury life. Everybody wants the best life. A man of God has a private jet. Most times it's because of the series of meetings they have all around the world. Right? And you are in Nigeria now. Huh? You can go to the airport and say, I have to catch my flight by 3 o'clock, and I tell you it has been postponed to tomorrow. And you've already put millions into starting a meeting. What will you do? You understand? And these things are not even put out there for how will I put it? For the people of the world. It's for us Christians to enjoy. That's how it's supposed to be. And you say, oh, the men of God, they are just driving private jets. Why there are people in their church that have not eaten? But you, sir. How many? Are you not one person hungry in your street? And yes, you are doing wedding. How will you be doing wedding? Wasting that kind of money? Why not just give to the beggar in your street? And the hatred comes. And whether you like it or not, the hatred is there. Whether you like it or not, people will complain. No matter what you do, people would always complain. Right? There was someone that came to church and she needed assistance, right? So out of our nothing, we had to just scratch our body and give. We gave. That was on Saturday. I think for over 2 weeks now, she has not come to church again since that day.
That means some people just come just because of what you do.
I can't say because of what they need. Most of them are not just spiritually matured yet, right? You'll be thinking if they get from you, right, they will become more serious. But the mama said, if people come to church, it's not because of anything. You not go to carry your come and say, they there. I heard a man of God share a story of someone he paid house rent for. He said he struggled to pay the house rent. Struggle. Even when they pay the house rent, he stopped coming to church. So the things pastors go through, we don't come up out there to place it out there. I'm not saying all this to discourage people, right? I understand you have faith. I understand that your own will not be like this. I get it. Right? I get it. But then, welcome to the hood. Just understand. See, we Christians, we're supposed to be the ones that are, supporting each other. A wise sheep protects the shepherd. Because they know how important that shepherd is. So as Christians, we should not expose our men of God, right? We should not expose. And see, if you're in the church, no matter how small, just try to support. It's important. It's important. See, it's very, very important. On my birthday last year, I'm not sure I received calls. You understand? You have to call some people and say, it's my birthday now. You understand the point? I can categorically tell you that some men of God buy the cake themselves for their birthday. And they say, thank you, church. Because they don't want to fall their church hand now. They just have to do it.
Wow.
But then you see other churches that are already mega big. They support, they get and all that. You think everybody are the one doing support. Don't be surprised that the people making it happen, they are not more than 10 in that church. They are not more than 10 in that church. So financially speaking, God provides, right? God can provide. But then, when we say God provide, you know what that means. God said, come. I'm taking you guys from Egypt to a land of milk and honey. See what they went through. They still had to trek. God did not provide the bus. They still had to walk through the Red Sea. Right? So as we travel through life, journeying with God, this is what it is. Financially and otherwise, God will not call you to make money. Right? Because if you come into the picture and people say, oh, pastor should go and walk. You are walking, right? Okay, I just said somebody called me early in the morning and said she had a dream. I have to come and pray for her. I said, no, please, I'm on my way to work. I cannot come home. Right? And somebody says, oh, hello, sir, please. My wife is in the hospital. The doctor said they want to do operation. We need prayer and all that. What will you do? Will you keep giving excuses to your boss to say, I'm going there? Right? There are times you need to pray for someone for like maybe 3 days straight. What do? Right? So this is the kind of things people don't even understand about what it means to be a pastor. Or they are told that their call is not that demanding. They can still maybe do something, maybe because they are assistant pastor and all that. But for the man that is just founding a church, you don't expect him to. Because even the ones that are not doing anything, like they are putting on their effort, it's not even working the way they thought it was going to work. Right? So that's what it is. And if you are not spiritually matured enough, you will think that the devil are the witches and wizards in your village, they are attacking you. But knowledge of Christ already makes us remove that from the picture. You get the point. So being a man of God is something that is really demanding. See, it's more difficult than working your normal day job. The normal day job, you have motivation. You can change job anytime. Pastor work, no matter how, you cannot say I'm not doing it again. Because your conscience will tell you that you have left your purpose, right? And if you leave your purpose, what is the need to live? There's nothing else to live for. So that's what it is when it comes to the finances as a man of God.
Through this interview with Apst David, I've learned a lot, like really a lot. He was saying that it's not all rosy the way we think it is.
Yeah.
Ministry is not all rosy. There are some things that you have to go through. Even if yes, God has called you, there are some things that you have to go through. I talked about having faith, seeing your faith in God. If you don't go through those things, like you won't take it so seriously. You won't have those convictions that you ought to have.
Yeah.
So lastly now, I want to just throw a word to those who are just upcoming, those who want to go into the ministry. What words of advice do you have for them, sir?
I think the word I want to say to them is trust in God. Trust in God. If others could do it, it means God can actually make something out of what He has called you to do. So if He did it through others, He can also do it through you. So all you need is patience. No man can walk with God without patience, because faith automatically provides patience. If you have faith in God that He won't fail you, then you'll be able to be patient with Him. So Trust in God and don't allow money to be the motivation, because if it is, you'll be frustrated out of ministry, right? God trusts you, right? But you will still have to prove yourself. Is the truth. That's it with ministry. You will still have to prove yourself. Prove that you are there because you really trust God, because you love God, and because you actually have the desire to fulfill your purpose. Not an a poverty elevation scheme, right? Not because you want to come and make money. If that is you, you will definitely compromise. You will start selling oil. You understand? You start selling oil. You will start selling cloth. You will start selling gbogbo because you just want to be able to make ends meet. And don't come into it thinking, oh, your people would actually give you cash, people would dash you. There's grace for that, right? I have the grace for that. But at the end of the day, you must also still understand that you have to trust in God. Have patience, right? Have patience. Be there. And God will definitely see you through. So just believe, right? And also surround yourself with people that have the same dreams like you. Those that are also sincere. They might not be on the same level with you. At least go to those that are slightly above you or very above you. Say they can put you through. And the great success of others must not affect you as a person. Learn to applaud people. Learn to clap. There's a man of God I love so much. He's so young, and whenever I see what God is doing through him, I'm really amazed. I'm like, God can do it through this man, he can do it through me. So whatever milestone, he is able to just go through, whatever thing he's able to achieve, I see it as an encouragement instead of as jealousy. And by every means, don't come into ministry as a form of competition or trying to prove a point. Right? Because if you come like that, you will definitely be disappointed. Because God will mold you, break you, make you until you are free of those things that can actually kill you in the future. Things like pride, things like greed. So God will make you stay put until those things are no longer found in you. Because if they are found in you, guess what? You will not be able to go far in ministry. So all I will just say is, as you come into it, trust in God. Ministry is hard work. So he says that, dear soldiers of God, endure hardness, right? Endure hardness. So we have to endure hardness, right? So that's just what I have to say today.
Wow. Thank you so much, sir. Lastly, if you have not subscribed to this channel, you are doing yourself no good. Click the subscribe button, like, and then share. Thank you very much. See you in the next videos.
Bye bye. Have a good day.